Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, we got the not Harbor Freight welder. It's actually a Campbell Hausfeld professional welder is what it says on the side of it. I don't know about professional, but that's what it said. Quite honestly, I got this many years ago. In fact, I'm going to find the date on it somewhere here. I found the box actually the other day. Anyhow, so I thought I would do a little bit of a review, even though you might not be able to get this. I know you can get some Campbell Hausfeld or Hausfeld, I don't know how you say it. I think it is Hausfeld, Campbell Hausfeld. Anyways, but I think you can still kind of get something similar to this. But quite honestly, if you look at the Harbor Freight welders, it looks very simple or similar. Sorry. You got your high, your low, you got your wire speed. You got your on-off. That's all you get there. And then you get a ground clamp, which I have actually long lost, got rid of. And I had one of these magnetic ones on here, these magnetic grounds, also from Harbor Freight. And then later on, I ended up kind of jerry-rigging a set of jumper cable wire things. And then I set that on, I put that on there. That way I like having the magnet. I can lay that on my welding table and weld. I can put it on a car in a place where the body's ground down, or if I need to, I can also take and put that there. I probably should get a better grounding clamp, quite honestly, but this works. So I've just kept, as far as the trigger here, not much to say other than I've never had to replace it. I've never had any problems with it. In fact, I've had it for as long as I've had it, and like I said, I'm going to tell you about that later. But and I just now replaced the tip on it. Probably should have done it years and years ago, but I really just haven't used it a ton in the past little while. I used to use this a lot. Now this is just it's not a wire feed, or it's not a MIG welder. It is a wire feed welder. But it's just a simple little machine, and it does really well. The thing about this is I wouldn't trust it for anything that was structural. I wouldn't use it on like suspension parts on a car. It's just a 110 unit, so you're not going to get a whole lot of stuff. The duty cycle is very poor on this. I've hit the duty cycle many times. It says 15% duty cycle. So actually it's not super bad, to be honest, but I don't think it's that good because I've hit the duty cycle on this several times. But yet again, that could just be because it's getting so much older and I've just done nothing but welded with it. I haven't torn it apart or done anything to it. The only thing I've done to it is put a different ground on it. Here's the box here, and about the only date I see is 98, so I'm assuming I probably bought this somewhere within a year of 1998. That's how long I've owned this, and that seems about right to me. Now it actually says made in Italy, so wasn't made in China. That's, I guess, an upside. I don't know if Italy made some much better stuff, but it says it was made in Italy for this company. It had a 5-year warranty, which I surpassed many decades ago, or at least several years ago. I've been super happy with this thing. It'll take 030, 035 wire, and we'll take a closer look at some of the downfalls. I'd say one of the biggest downfalls is the plug-in is very short, and the welding cable is very short. I will say that this seems like a good piece. This part of it seems like a pretty good piece. It's got a little wire to hang things on. I don't know as I've used that but a few times in my life. This just pulls off, which it's actually kind of difficult to do. And you can change your tips. I don't even know if I've ever even put any kind of a tip cleaner or anything inside this thing, and it does spatter. You guys have seen me weld with this thing. It doesn't weld great, but it does do the job you need. And my point of this video And I paid less than what they cost at Harbor Freight. But if the only thing you can afford is a Harbor Freight welder, and it gets you going on whatever project you need to do. Once again, I would not trust it for suspension type stuff or anything that your life may depend on. But as far as doing body panels, I know a lot of people say don't use flux core, it'll ruin it. I'll show you my Mustang. I've actually done part of a panel on my Mustang several years ago, and I'm not having any problems right now with it. Now, I haven't put body filler or anything over it, but it's been sitting a long time. I have actually painted over it with just a rattle can paint, and it's not rusting or any problems like that. I'll show that to you. Now, the welding cart I built, I did a video on that if you want to go check it out. Nothing too special. You may hear a bee flying around. I got a bee that's stuck in my garage here and I can't get rid of it, but we're going to go on here. Now, the body itself, it looks like was made from one that took a gas cylinder, because it's cut out back here in the back like a gas cylinder was kind of an area for gas cylinders to stick through. It's very easy to pull this. This whole side comes off. It's not like the Harbor Freight where the top comes up. And it does take the bigger spools, the 10-pound spools, which I have a 10-pound of 035 flux core stuff, just because lately I was doing kind of stuff on my tractor and some things like that. And you know what? I don't mess with this thing. As you can see, it's very dirty. It is plastic. I mean, everything's plastic, but everything seems to work. I haven't had problems with the rollers, you know, flattening out or going bad or not feeding the wire. It all works. So, I mean, this is a testament to the Campbell Hausfeld equipment as far as what they did back in 1998. Was pretty good stuff. And, you know, you never know nowadays, good, bad, or otherwise, what direction they go in. But I did buy this at Walmart. I was not expecting any more from this than I would a Harbor Freight welder when I bought it. At that time, there was no Harbor Freight anywhere near me. I don't think I'd heard of Harbor Freight by that time. And here's the quarter panel on my Mustang. I probably did this 10 years ago, if not longer ago than that. It's been more than 8, that I know, because I did this before I hurt myself. So anyway, you can see the weld line goes up through here. Now, some of you questioning where I actually welded this at. When I get on my Mustang, I'll explain to you why I did what I did and where I did it at. It is the way I learned to do it, so it's the way I do it, and I haven't had any problems with it as far as replacing quarter panels in the past when I did have a business, and I did a few quarter panels with that machine right there. And I've never had anything brought back as far as my welding patch panels and things like that. That's pretty much all I do with that machine. I bought it for that. I had a job where a guy wanted me to do some rust patch repair, and I bought that machine knowing it would pay for itself in the first job. So anyhow, I did start my Mustang with that, and as you can see, you know, there's some pinholes here and there, but this is not by any means finished. And now here's the trick to using a flux core welder, because they are way too hot to be doing this. You're probably going to get a little bit of warpage if you're not super careful. And the biggest thing is I would tack it here, then I would come over and tack it there, and go in the middle and tack there. And then I would walk away from the panel, sometimes overnight. And then I came back the next day, and I would tack in between those, and I would walk away, and I would go do a different job or go work on something else. And I did that for several weeks, and this is as far as I got right here. Quite honestly, because when I cut the quarter panel, it slipped on me when I made the line, and I didn't notice, and I have a pretty big gap here I have to fix. That's pretty much why I stopped where I did. But it does work. It did work. I rattle canned over that many years ago. As you can see, there's no rust coming through, no, you know, nothing bubbling through the paint. The paint is still sticking there and it's just rattle can paint. Yes, there are pinholes. Yes, I wasn't done with it. And yes, it does need ground down better. That's the one thing. Once you're done for the day, do your grinding carefully, because grinding too much, you can also warp a panel. I'll go over that when I get back on this. Hopefully I do some body projects here, and that's where I actually have a little bit of knowledge. Anyhow, you know, it needs ground down some more, and grind down your, that's what I was saying, grind down your welds at the end of the day when you're, you know, when you're all done with the welding, and make sure you get all that flux stuff out of there. I don't know how else to say it. It's kind of like arc welding, basically, for lack of a better way of putting it. You got to chip off your flux from the top of the weld, or grind it off. You use a grinder or wire wheel or whatever you want. Get the flux off of the top of the weld, get the crud off the top of the weld, and then grind it down. And then you shouldn't have any problems with all the porosity. Now, I'm not going to guarantee that you're going to do everything right and it's going to work out perfectly for you, but what I can say is this little machine has paid for itself 100 times over. I've done, like I said, definitely just patchwork. Several, got a bee coming after me again here. I've done several patch panels of rust, things like that, where clients, you know, most of my clients weren't super picky, I'll say, but I did the best work I could, and quite honestly, I actually had a pretty good name for myself until zoning shut me down, because I was working out of my own garage. That's a whole nother story, which I may have already told. But anyways, beyond that, you know, I did pretty darn good work, if I do say so myself, and this little machine helped me get through it. My biggest thing from this video is not how great this machine is, but how I didn't let a machine like this hold me back from doing work that paid, from doing different projects that I needed to get done to do. You know, you just have to be a little more careful about how you do it, how much heat you put into it, and be aware that it has its limitations on, you know, strength wise, what you want to use it for. But you've seen this in other videos. I did some welding before in other videos where I've used this machine, and like I said, doesn't put down great beads, but it does do the job. So don't let, I don't know, for lack of a better way of putting it, snobby, snooty welding people tell you that a machine like this is such a piece of garbage it's not even worth buying, because that is not the truth. A machine like this is kind of a piece of garbage, but it'll get the job done that you need it to do most of the time. So anyhow, it's a good little machine, I will say that. I've been happy with it. I've done a lot of work with it. It's paid for itself 1,000,000 times over, and it's still working just fine. But my wife has been gracious enough to allow me to have a new welder in the house, and I'm sure there'll be lots of people that are snooty about that one too. But come back to see that video when I get it. You can see I'll do probably not a complete box opening, but a first look type video, and I'm going to be doing my welding table and getting that done finally. I haven't let this machine hold me back from doing that, but my welding projects I have not necessitated me redoing my welding table for any reason. Now that I have a little better welder coming, my welding table, I'm going to want it a little bit flatter for some of the projects I'm going to be doing. Alright, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Get out there and do something. That's the reason we all do these YouTube videos. Alright, this is Sam, Jack of all, Master of none, and you all have a good one.